Now it's time to get your hands dirty. First, you're going to have to start with your pots. Now there are lots of different types to use, but most common are the plastic pots. You could get trays like this one, where you sow in the rows, and then you have to transplant out to larger pots later. You can also get a seed starting kit like this one. This one has a humidity dome. It's got a cell tray, including with the plugs that you just put into the cell tray. It also has a water reservoir that holds up to 7 days worth of water. So if you got to go away on vacation for a week, you don't have to worry about your seedlings drying out. Or you can try another type of material like peat pots. Peat pots are made from compressed peat. You can also get them made out of cow manure also, which is, I don't know if they smell or not, but I've never tried it. But I guess you can try. It's the first time for everything. The advantage to this is that you can plant it, pot and all, out in your soil, and you're not disturbing the roots. This is important if you're planting, say, pumpkins or watermelons, because they don't like their roots to be disturbed at all, and this is the greatest way to do that. All you have to do is plant it in the soil. The peat will decompose over time, and the plant will continue to grow. Now once you have your pot picked out, and one note about pots, if you're using pots that you used from last year, or even new pots, make sure you wash them with a bleach solution to kill any disease or pests that may be living on the pots. And now that you have your pot washed and ready to go, you will need to put soil in them. What you want is a germinating mix or a soil mix, such as this. The SeedStarting Jiffy Mix was what I use, which you could get at any box store, Tractor Supply, or even your nursery. This is very lightweight soil that is sterilized and easy to use. Lightly moisten the soil before putting it in the pot so it's easy to deal with. I think right now I like to start with tomato seeds. Since tomato seeds need to be started indoors 6 to 8 weeks before transplanting, and we're in about mid-February, so it's perfect timing. First, I'm going to use the cell tray. I have already put the plugs into the cells. Now, in order to get the seeds in the right place, you will notice there are holes already made in the soil. What this does is it directs the seed into the hole and gets them to the proper depth. You want to try to get one seed per cell. If you get a couple more in there, don't worry about it. You can thin them out later. Now once you get all these cells planted, make sure you label them. Because once the seedlings start growing, you'll forget what each one will be, so make sure you properly label them. Now that all the seeds have been planted, you'll need to cover them up with the soil. With these plugs, you're going to need to pinch the soil since they're so tightly compacted, but just make sure that the seeds are touching the soil so that they can germinate. Now that you've planted all your seeds and covered them up, now it's time to fill the reservoir with water, which is not very hard to do. You just go along one of the edges and you carefully fill the reservoir up halfway. You're going to see the cell tray actually float above the water. Now as I'm pouring this, you'll notice that I have numbers next to my rows, such as 22, then 21, and then 20, and so on. Since I'm going to be putting a humidity dome on top of this, I have no room for label markers. So what I do is I number each row, and then on the corresponding seed packet I put that number, and then I tape the seed packet on this tray so that I know what row has what seedling in it. This way later on I can't forget, what did I plant on this row? Now once you have the water reservoir filled halfway, it's time to put the humidity dome on top. Make sure it's nice and secure. And now all you got to do is just put it in a nice warm location. Right now I have mine in my dining room window, which gets pretty warm here. I mean, during the day, right now outside is about 50 degrees. However, in this location, the temperature could get up to about between 70 and 80 degrees, which is an ideal temperature for germinating seeds. Now if you don't have a window where you could put your cell tray in, You could also put it on top of a refrigerator or someplace that will stay warm constantly. You need between, I would say, 70 and 85 degrees for your seeds to germinate well. You can also buy a heating mat that you put underneath your cell tray that will warm up your soil so that your seeds will germinate. Now I will show you how to use the flat. Fill the tray about 1 inch or so with the moistened soilless mix. Now with either a skewer, pencil, or your finger, or my handy dandy plastic knife, make as many rows as you need. Your depth will depend on how big your seeds are. You're going to want to go 3 times the width of your seeds is the depth. Now sow your seeds. Don't worry about spacing, you can thin them out later. Now once you've gotten these all planted, now these are very small seeds. You won't be able to see it probably on the camera. But once you have these all sown, cover them up with the soilless mix. Then you will mist them with a spray bottle. Use a spray bottle instead of a watering can. The watering can, if you use that, the stream of the water is too strong and it's going to mess up your seeds. They're going to go into the other rows and all that. With your spray bottle, your seeds are going to stay put, but they're still going to stay moist. Now since this flat has no humidity dome, you can either use a plastic wrap or a plastic bag. With the plastic wrap, you just take it and just put it right on top. And you're good to go. Except one important thing that I just forgot is make sure to label your rows before doing the plastic wrap so that you know what's what. And now, just like the cell tray, you need to keep them warm and moist. And of course, I'm going to put them right next to the other so that they can germinate. Once your seedlings pop up, take off the humidity dome and put them under some grow lights. Now you can use shop lights as shown here, or grow lights. Whether it be 2 or 4 bulb fixtures, it doesn't matter. But what does is to have them on about 14 hours a day. And place the seedlings within a 1 inch or so of the light. As you can see, some of the cells have 2 plants in them. Now you only want 1 plant per cell. So the easiest way to take care of that is take a pair of scissors and snip the one that you don't want. I know it's a hard thing to do, but it is necessary. And take this one. This one has 2 in there. Just pick the one and snip. Now all you need to do is to make sure that your seedlings have enough moisture. Also at this point, you can start using liquid fertilizer. The next step is, a week before you transplant out into the yard, you're going to have to harden off your seedlings. As you can see here, this is my seed starting shelf. It is comprised of PVC pipe, plywood for the shelves, and also shop lights that I bought at Home Depot. These are T12 shop lights. They're the cheapest ones that they have, and that's all you really need. There's plenty of light out of the 2 bulbs that are in that light.